Facebookers, Instagrammers. Hello, Facebookers, Instagrammers. As I posted yesterday, all this week I'm going to be doing different lives for your health. And we'll basically do women's health, okay? So we're talking about a subject today, which is pelvic health. And this is a very in-depth subject. And because 1 in 3 women do not go out if they have issues on the pelvic health, such as incontinence and things like that. So it's a very unspoken condition. So this session now is just to do for pelvic health. If you don't have any issues, but we'll have a look and test and show you some exercises to see basically how you feel on this. So we're going to, on your pelvic health, ladies, you've got 3 layers of muscle and your muscle support in your pelvic floor, okay? So we've got some around the anus, some around urethra, some around the vagina. We need to strengthen those. There are conditions where there are high tension pelvic floor and you wouldn't be doing the strengthening on it. That is where you would be doing exercises to relax. So that isn't for those people who have that. If you think you have any pelvic floor issues at all, then do see your pelvic floor physiotherapist. There are people out there, and it's important that you go to the right people for that. And that you don't ignore it, okay? Your pelvic health area is for stability, okay? Stability of your body, the support of your pelvic organs, and for sexual functions. And we don't just work internally on that. We work on the limbo-pelvic hip complex. So people who have weak pelvic floors or strong often have issues going on around the glutes and the abs, but we're going to look at the strengthening of that area today, the hip and the abs and the pelvic floor. So yeah, if you worry about that, if you know you've got problems, head to a pelvic floor specialist. Please do. Okay, so we start off with some breathing practice, because breath work, if you're holding your breath, then you are creating a downward pull, a downward push on your pelvic area anyway. Okay, so you need to, if you've got tension, anxiety, then it could be that is causing some issues because of the downward push, because you do a lot of breath holding if you've got tension and anxiety. So I want you to come to the end of a chair and place your hands on the ribs, because we're just going to check that you're breathing properly. So you come to the outside of your ribs. You're relaxing. Your feet are shoulder width apart, hip width apart. Hands on here. Now, as you breathe in, okay, your pelvic floor is pushing down at that phase. Can you feel that? So you feel that already as you are held in breath. That, can you imagine, is constant pelvic pushing down. So we want you to always focus on breathing, relaxing. Breathe out and breathe in. Breathe out and the pelvic floor comes back up. Breathe in, it's down, and breathe out and releases back up. And now what we want to get used to doing is on the out breath, gently drawing in a little bit from the pelvic floor. So breathe in, everything normal, relax, and breathe out. Just gently drawing on the pelvic floor. Breathe in, relax. Breathe out, gently drawing on the pelvic floor. Now, it can be quite difficult when you do pelvic floor exercises because you can't see, your instructor can't see, only you can feel, okay? So as I said before, you've got ladies we have 3 exits because we're luckier than men. And so that's why we need to keep them all toned through for incontinence and just basically for, you know, a nice, strong, healthy pelvic floor. If you haven't got any issues there, you still have to do your exercises. This is really important. If you haven't had babies, still do your pelvic floor exercises. Many times, you know, women will get told by gynecologists, do your pelvic floor. It's the only time that you get told when you've had a baby. But it's also for ladies who haven't had children, it's important to do as well. As we age, your entire hormone changes in the body can have effect on that area. So we need to be doing prevention rather than the cure at a later stage. So I want you to think about these three areas. So in your front area where you wear, I want you to draw up as if you're picking a jelly bean up in the front area. Hold in there. Hold. So drawing it up. And then you're releasing. So I want you to practice that draw up and release. And there's 2 different rhythms you can do with this. It's like a slow picking up of the jelly bean and a releasing it down, or then you do quick. But we don't want every muscle down there to come into play. So you're isolating those muscles. So we're working on the urethra, drawing up and release, okay? And then after we've done certain amounts of exercises, aim for 30, you'd go onto the vagina and you're drawing up your jelly bean again into that area and release. Okay, draw it up again, draw up and release. Now, while I'm doing that, while you're doing that, carry on, and I'm going to talk about that. You may feel that nothing's happening. If you've just had a baby, if you've not done these exercises before, you've not thought about it, you may feel that something's trying to pull back down and won't allow you to hold and lift in that lift there, okay? That can often just mean that you haven't done this exercise, you've not focused, you've not woke those muscles up, and they're not playing for you right now. But practice and they will come into play. Should you be practicing this regularly for 30 days and you're still not seeing any progress, maybe you can take it a little step further, get a checkup by the physio and see if anything is awry a little bit there. Okay, so from there you're going to move on to your back passage and do the same on that. So you're drawing up the back passage and then you're releasing. Draw up, back passage. You can see there's no movement from any other part of my body. I'm just a nice tall spine. My feet are flat on the floor, heels down. And you're sat in that nice position and release down. Breathe in and down. So you can practice on that front, center, back, and then you can practice on drawing them all up together. See if you can focus any one of those that might be wanting to drop away and do more practice on that and then release. Okay, it's not great. It used to be to do this when you're on the loo and you're stopping midstream, mid-flow urine. Don't. It's much healthier for you to do it like this. And you can do this and practice it in different positions. So you can do sitting down, standing. They are great to do when you're sat at the office chair, while you're on Zoom, when you're standing waiting for anything in a queue. They're great. It's easy to do. It's easy to fit into your life because there's always a 5 minutes that you can do that. You can then practice them again in different positions. So I'm going to move this away. We're going to move onto the floor and you can practice them in all fours. Anyone tuning in? So yeah, practicing up all fours. So you can do them in this position. Try in different positions, okay? Because you will find them more challenging in certain positions. But it's important that you do, because that gives a different dimension to the training of the pelvic floor. It's really good to do. Okay, so remember, just to recap on that, let's switch that round for a moment. So dysfunctional breathing can create extra pressure into the pelvic floor. So breathing practice. Then your internal muscle practice, okay? You're expanding with your breath, practice that we did, okay? And then we're going to now go onto the floor for another couple of exercises here. So we want to as well, I'll come back up and just do 2 exercises because it's important that when you are training in exercise, especially if you're weight training, that you're not doing the Valsalva hold, which is like a, you see weightlifters do it to hold and push stronger, push the lift stronger. We don't want that. If ladies are weight training, we don't want to be holding the breath to push more, because you've seen how holding the breath can already have a force pressuring down when you're doing that, which isn't what we want. So if you have a pillow, ball, little ball, whatever, lie down and keep the feet bent, curling down. So you're going to find a neutral spine and to just see how you're working. So you can place your hands underneath where your belt would be to just find neutral spine, okay? So just resting then the hands onto that where the belt would be, under there. Otherwise, I want you to give me a pelvic tilt. So you're removing the hollow in the back. So you're bringing your pelvis towards you. And then I want you to tip pelvis away as far as you can. And then in the middle of that, you'll bring into the neutral spine. And then if you slide that hand under, you can see how your neutral spine can just fit the hands underneath there. That's your neutral spine. So we're staying in this position here. So you can do that little exercise as a reps if you want. So do 5 to 8 reps. Pelvic tilt, pelvis towards you, pelvic neutral, pelvic tilt away, back to neutral, pelvic tilt up. And all the time through it, because we are focusing on the pelvic health here at this moment, you can draw up again, jelly bean, exhale. But remember, as you're breathing, as you go through your exercise, you're breathing in, no drawing. As you breathe out, you're drawing, breathe in, release, breathe out, and just pelvic tilt forward and back from there. From there you come to neutral. Now I want you to imagine you've got a clock face on in your abdomen here, a clock face. 12 o'clock is just above your belly button and 6 o'clock is down, deep down in the pelvis. And then you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the one side and 7 to 12 on the other. Now, I'm going to exaggerate this, but there is no movement in this, okay? The only movement is internally. So all I want you to do, as you've contracted before, and I couldn't see anything before with your pelvic floor, I want you to contract at 12 o'clock with your belly. Contract. See if you can feel that belly putting down. Right now, we're checking on your abdominals here, and to see if you have anything. Now try not to push the back into the floor. You're pulling in at 12, and then you're going to take it round to 1, and you're pulling in at 1. Pulling in at 2. Pulling in at 3. In at 4. Breathe out as well on that. 5. 6. 7. Pull in 8. 9. 10. 11, and 12. Okay, you saw no movement of me, but I could feel how my abdominals drawing in at each number there around the clock. Sometimes you really feel strong around the top area, but when you come to the lower pelvis area, things start to not work a little bit. That can be quite normal, but means that you've got to work on it a little bit more, okay? You have to work on it. It's an area you need to work. So this is a really good one. It's so easy again. Lying in your bed, making sure you're flat, or with your head on a pillow. If you want head on the pillow, it doesn't, you can have either. And then, or on a block, head on a block if you want. So drawing in, 1, 2, 3. Now remember, I said this is pelvic health for women, not pregnant ladies, because you wouldn't be lying flat. You would definitely not be lying flat if it was for when you're pregnant. So this is for non-pregnant ladies. So go again around that clock, but this time, instead of just doing 12 o'clock, I want you to think about doing a 12 o'clock and a 6 o'clock. 12 and 6, drawing together, 12 and 6. Now try 1 and 5. Can you feel that? 1 and 5. 1 and 5. 2 and 3. Sorry, 3 and 9. 3 and 9. That's, I'm finding that more difficult. Now I can feel when I'm doing it, a little right here in the back wants to work as well. So I'm really trying to isolate that move. 3 and 9, 3 and 9. Now try 7 and 1, 7 and 1, 7 and 1, 7 and 1. It's quite good, isn't it? Can you feel that? Okay, so that's your exercise to practice. Really good, really effective. Now bring your legs closer. You've got your block, placing it between your legs. Feet are neutral, and I just want you, actually I'm going to take it to the width of that, and I want to just squeeze that block together. And I want you to think about now your pelvic floor, east and west, and I want you to just try and pull east and west of your sitting bones together, east and west. So you've got your block in the middle. Can you feel that? Draw east and west. So breathing in, breathe out, draw east and west. In, out, squeeze, east and west. In, breathe in, release, breathe out, east and west. Can you feel that? Pulling in your pelvic floor. Again, breathe in, out, east and west. Good. In, out, east, west. So that's another one. You can use the pillow or a ball. And then the next one we're going to do is think about squeezing the knees together with the block in the middle and drawing up again through the pelvic floor, north to south, and then release. Just relax the shoulders down. I'm moving my arms, but ideally you turn the palms up so you allow the breath to flow into the chest. So drawing again the knees, drawing north, south, squeeze, and release. So this is really good. You know, just 15 minutes a day can really make a difference, a huge difference. Again, squeeze, draw it in, squeeze, and release. Now we'll do some shorter, faster repetitions. Go. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Out, out, and out. Good. Okay, we're taking it a little bit more dynamic now. So I'm going to remove the block and you're going to keep that space between your knees. We're going to keep the hip stability, same position. You're just going to slowly lift up through the right into what we call a tabletop position without tilting those hips. Can you feel, you know, your clock that we just did a moment ago? Can you really feel it pulling in now on the opposite side? So mine at that side was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On that side's really pulling. Then we're resetting down, feet down in that same position and drawing in. Pull, pull, pull slowly. Can you feel the clock on that side? Pull in and down, slowly lower. Wow, you know, this is really quite intense. So again, lift other side. A lot of work going on in the transverse abdominals. I can start to feel that now, which means that the pelvic floor has now kind of been taken over by the abdominals a little bit more. So draw in again, in, which is then more likely because the abdominals are the bigger muscle and wants to take over. Reset down, inhale, exhale, lift. Place your hands, if you like, on just below the hips on the center, and you can feel that area really working on those transverse abdominals. You're drawing in. Can you feel them tighten and release? So really, when we want to transverse the pelvic floor, we want to do that without it tightening. So work. So you felt that tighten now. So work on seeing if you can keep that soft so that you're working pelvic floor. So relax. See if you can avoid tightening on that. It's very hard. Mine was to kick in and slowly lower. On the side, in, breathe out. Draw up pelvic floor. Release. One more, just one more. Do it without pulling the abdominals in there. Hip flexors. Draw in. And down. One on the other side. So this is like all pelvic health awareness. Getting pelvic health awareness. And reset. And then take it out, because that's really intense work on the pelvic area. Stretch out. And slowly bring the knees into the side. Give yourself a little hug. And into the sitting position. Okay. And I hope that was informative for you and helps you a lot. We'll be coming back to do more pelvic health exercises later in the week. If you go on my stories, screenshot it, you'll see the workshops that I've got going on there. If you enjoyed this, if you found it interesting, informative, drop a comment in the box below. Say yes. If you would like the link to this, then drop into the comment below. Yes, please send me the link through so that you can have it, and that can be a gift from me. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you later on for taster, 15-minute yoga tasters. See you later.